far as Buddy Volunteers is concerned, it's a team of motivated people, citizens of Bangalore, who have been involved in helping a lot of people in home isolation. Now, as far as this entire concept is concerned, is different from the kind of counseling that the government generally has for other home isolation patients. This started off as a voluntary initiative in last June, and we're completing 1 year now. We've crossed about 85,000 plus home isolation consolations, and that is something which is a unique thing as far as this project is concerned. We have in our team some big names in the sense, I would say that their commitment and dedication to the cause is something that is very, very important, because each of them take off hours every day to counsel 50 people, 70 people, 80 people every day, and to take somebody's pain onto yourself is something which needs a lot of courage, and that is what the Buddy Volunteers have been doing. Now, the whole concept, which started off with just a casual trial of speaking to people initially, and then I thought, if I could help my friends get out of it, we could also help a lot more people, and that is how we started in the east zone of BBMP. And after that we moved to Bomanhalli and south zone, and we've been working on this for a lot of people, counseling them and supporting them. Now, as far as Sumit is concerned, Sumit, I will just introduce the team over here, is the person who has developed this app and has been able to support this entire initiative technically along with Vikram. Then we have our youngest volunteers, like Sharon is over here and Mr. Sudarshan is over here. And these are people who have, given hours together every day non-stop to be able to help people in counseling, giving them support. And then we have some of them are not here, but each one's contribution, as far as saving a life, keeping the morale of home isolation patients is high, is something which needs a lot of commitment. And I say that while there are medical frontliners, these are psychological frontliners who have kept people battling the worst phase of their lives, and that is the most beautiful entire concept of this. Now, one unique thing that I wanted to mention over here before I let the buddies speak about how they do it and what motivates them to do it, is the fact that when a person gets positive and is allocated a buddy volunteer, it is through the entire period of home isolation, the same buddy continues to support the patient. So there's a kind of a rapport which is built up, there's a kind of relationship that is built up, and that is what is unique, because the patient feels that he or she has somebody they can bank on, rely on, and who cares for them. That is the specialty of this entire program. And I'm sure when you speak to the buddies now, some of them are here, they will speak for themselves and speak for others as well, and they will be able to tell you as to what their experiences have been, what their challenges have been. And as far as logistics is concerned, the support is concerned, they have worked in tandem in great goodwill with the BBMP. In some cases, they have moved patients to hospitals, to COVID cares. They have given grocery kits, they have given medicines to them, and ensured that this entire exercise of taking about 85,000 patients home, helping them recover. Some of them unfortunately could not, but has been a journey which is the most memorable chapter in our lives. And this is what is the basic introduction that I wanted to give. And I'm sure the buddies here will be able to throw a lot more light on this entire thing.
So, Vijay, thank you for this. In fact, before I have the rest of them who really worked so much, 85,000 is not a small number for the last 1 year. I just wanted to, because today, very unusual in the last 2, 3 weeks, especially, the numbers are going so much, and people are really, really needing this kind of a help. How do people reach out to your, buddy organization, Vijay?
Well, see, we've been working in tandem with the BBMP, and the access that we have for these counselings is through the BBMP only. We are
Okay.
not reaching out on the thing, but this avenue that you're talking of, that somebody who needs counseling We are planning to do that in the coming week,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully we'll have a platform where somebody who's feeling that he or she needs moral and mental support, we will be able to give that opportunity to them. We have not figured out a mechanism still, but certainly in the final stages of processing it, and that is how we'll be opening it out to the public also, because given the numbers that are rising, we have 3 lakh plus patients in Bangalore city alone who are under home isolation, and they need help, they need support, they need motivation, they need guidance, and this is what the buddy volunteer team can do. And certainly we wish we had a number we could share with you today, but certainly when we do, we will definitely reach out and update you on this
Right.
entire exercise. But yes, buddy volunteers will make a lot of noise when they go out public and start counseling on that, and I'm sure people will be able to reach out.
Fantastic. Only thing is because now one of the things like not only providing that emotional support, which is of course the need of the hour, but what is the struggle for a lot of people, especially in home isolations, is especially suddenly when the oxygen levels drop, whom to reach, what to do, hospitals, unavailability. There's so many variety of things. It's not just one thing. So in that case, do the buddy volunteers also help people in terms of that reach whomever you have assigned to that respective patient?
Sujata, yes, what we have been able to do and in the past is able to flag off these issues where somebody needs, basic things. Oxygen is something where, all of us, including the hospitals, are facing a challenge. And I think so it will continue for a couple of weeks to come. That's something which, we have not figured out as to how to, get the oxygen support into home isolation. But certainly there are organizations who we are aware of. We can share the contacts with the people in isolation, and we are working on that on a separate platform, which is called CTAG, where we have been able to put up a list of vendors of oxygen, of COVID care centers, etc., where somebody who's ready to shift from a home to COVID care center will be able to help in that.
So
So
that is
that
an app, is
process
it?
activity, pardon?
Is that an app, the CTAG?
CTAG is, yes, it's a portal. It is CTAG helpline bangalore.com.
Okay.
And that is something which is working on that direction. And the buddy volunteers are working with that. But as far as, the specifics of, buddy volunteers is concerned, it is the most unique project, and it is pro bono, 100% free, even to the government. I mean, the patients don't have to pay is one thing. We have not billed the government one paisa till now, and that is something where every effort has gone in from our own pocket, and that is something which because we didn't want to make it a commercial venture or something like that. This is purely service by all the wonderful volunteers who've been there working for nearly a year now and saving lives. And that's the biggest satisfaction that we get, is that we are able to handhold a person at the time when he or she needs moral and mental support at the weakest moment of their life.
Right. Thank you so much for this, Vijay. I know you're extremely busy with supporting so many people being in home isolation. Let's all hope for a quick what do I say? We come out of this crisis quickly. I'm sure this too shall pass. With that, I would like the body volunteers to share some of your experiences and how do you kind of conduct this kind of session, especially for people in home isolation.
So, hi Sujata, thank you. My name is Sharon.
Hi,
I
Sharon.
hold a full-time job, and I do this on my evening times and the free hours that I have. So, just to add to what Vijay said, so this Buddy Volunteer Program is a solid, robust social engagement program. It's a platform, and this fosters a sense of meaning and a purpose, and totally pro bono, to adding to what Vijay said. And if any funding, it's from amongst ourselves that we help in terms of the rations that are being delivered or the medicine kits that are being given to people that are very poor. Now, in addition to what we do in terms of connecting people with a 1912 or a 108 to make a hospital bed booking, or the DGCI for a remdesivir or for oxygen, in addition to that, there's a lot of emotional care that we provide. So in a way, we're all emotional caregivers, and I would really like to use these two words, digital and agile. So we are digital because we use technology, and Sumit is our app man, as we call it, and agile because of the speed with which we connect with the patient. And it's just not that one time interaction. We've had patients calling us, inviting us to their special occasions in their families and wishing us. So there is this bond that is created between us and the patient that we speak to, as well as the bond that we have amongst ourselves. So every afternoon we got onto a call at about 2:30 for 45 minutes. This happens on every weekday and a Saturday, and where we share our experiences with whatever we've had with the patients that we call. And it's also a fun time that we have with one another. So in terms of emotional care, if you look at people who we really talk to, there's so much of negativity around. There's fear, there's loneliness, there's stigma. Even now, for someone to say I'm COVID positive, it doesn't come very easily. And there is this whole gamut, myriad emotions that one faces, and so much so it leads to sometimes suicides or depression, substance abuse. And we're able to be there as that anchor for this person who just wants to talk. I just want to share one experience. There was this one girl who was on my case list. And when I spoke to her, I realized from that conversation that her sister was in another home and positive. Her mother was in hospital. And this girl works for an IT company in Bangalore. And then when my turn to end the call came, she said, "Hey, can you just hold on for a little longer? I don't want you to hang up yet because I just want to talk to someone." So that's the kind of interactions that we have. All we do is listen, empathize, connect them with the right people, and we move on to the next person that we call. And obviously, we cannot provide them solutions, nor can we become the solution, but we help them find their coping mechanisms, their coping strategies in order to be able to take care of whatever they're going through. So we would call them, we get the data on day 0 plus 2, and then we call them again sometime through that period of isolation. Now it's 10 days that the government has mandated. And so we call them another time, and they are free to call us. So some of them say, "Can I save your number?" So I said, "Sure, go ahead. If I don't pick the call, please text me and I will definitely call you back or respond to your text." So personally, it's been a very fulfilling experience for all of us. And for me especially, although it does take time to make those calls, you feel that you have sown into the community in a way, and you really feel that you have connected, been that bridge with the person who's really suffering. So that's my 2 cents for you.
Yeah, hats off, Janitri, because it's not easy. I think people definitely need emotional support during this time. Not only emotional support that, in case I need, because today everybody is running either thither. They're just worried their, oxygen levels will drop. So what do I do? I'm not getting hospitals with so much of news going around, right? There's a lot of fear, but, thank you so much for sharing. I know you're all there in case of need, and I'll definitely, I'm sure people watching this, would feel a lot more secure. Thank you for that.
Thanks for this time.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Sudarshan.
Hello, madam. Now, I will not repeat whatever that our Sharon madam has told. I will try to make it little, whatever was missed or things like that. The thing, difference between the patient and us is, I am coming to myself introduction. I am Sudarshan. I am a retired scientist. I worked in the scientist for about 30, 40 years. Afterwards, I'm a volunteer in the hospitals, online volunteer, going to the hospital and helping the patient, mostly in the Kidwai hospital. All patients will come there, cancer and all. Now, coming to this offline, after this COVID came, I became the online. So when the difference between the patient and our speakers are, they are the people who got the COVID. We know all theoretically about the COVID. They are the people who were affected. The greatest thing we find is the shock. They are in a mental shock. What is it has happened like that? That is the great thing. First of all, we will tell them, see, mister, it is a big one, no doubt. It is a COVID, but it is not a dangerous. It is a very mild virus. The strength of the virus is it has got a tremendous capacity to spread. Don't forget, 95, 96% are totally free. There are no difficulty. We have to pass that on. So 10 days, 12 days, you have to keep cool. Take the symptomatic treatment and cool. Keep yourself cool. And we will emphasize very much the greatest medicine for them is to keep cool and not to entertain the fear. Otherwise, the fear element is very strong in them. They feel once it has come, it's all end. It is the end game, they feel. We will try to tell them it is not like that. It is not like a bacteriological disease. It is a virus disease. It will come. It has got a short life. During its period, you have to take it coolly and manage it. And we will tell them how to manage that one. And this is the first one. We will make them psychologically free. We allow them to vent out the feeling. Another fear they have is about the neighbors and all. Oh, that is the biggest problem in our country. They say they have become untouchables. They are not at all. But neighbors are all not at all allowing them to see them, talk to them, and all like that one. We will cool them. I tell, don't worry. And secondly, that isolation, the government regulations and all, most of the middle class and the lower middle class feel it is a punishment given to them. We will tell you are not the villains. Don't think like that one. You are the affected people, certainly not the villains. And all the so isolation rules they have done is to protect others, not to punish you. We will make it very clear. It is not to punish others. It is not to punish the patients. It is only to protect the others. The problem with this virus is it has got a tremendous capacity to spread. So you don't take it in that way. And we will cool them. We will tell it is not at all difficult. Whether you take the medicine or not, your immunity only will save you. And in case it goes beyond the limit, don't worry, we are there. You call us, we will try to help you in whichever way it is possible. One example I will tell you. My father was in one hospital, mother in another hospital, daughter was here. Then the doctor said, I am very much worried, sir. I can take care of myself. My father is there, mother is there. Will you please talk to them? See, he gave the number of the father. I spoke to the father. He said, sir, I am not worried about myself. I am worried about my daughter and my wife. All the same thing happened to all the three. Then I started telling to the people, once you talk to your father, don't ask, how are you? Tell, I am fine. I will tell the father also first. Once you get a call or you make a call to your daughter, tell, my beta, I am fine. First you tell that one, that will make them very well. More than the other party, they are worried about the persons in the family, how they are feeling. We will make our maximum contribution is to give emotional support to them. They feel at the end of this one, oh, this much only we were not knowing. We had thinking it is something very big as far. I said, whether you take the medicine or not, doesn't matter. Vitamin C and Zinkovit is there. 99% of the problems will be solved there. If some problem comes, we will have carry some medicine also. We have the working in consonance with our BDMP doctor. He will also have told what medicine, etc. to be given. We will give them a lot of moral support, which is very important. And sometimes what happens, they are not willing to talk too much and all. They are already in some difference and all. So we will not unnecessarily burden them. We will listen to them a maximum. And whenever they want to ask some any questions and all, we will attend, and we will always tell, you can always free to call us back. We are extremely happy with our performance because we will make the patient to smile at the end of the talk, which is very important. At the beginning, they are in a tremendous chance. They will be thinking it is so difficult is there. We will tell them, don't be sense like that. It is not a thing that you have to push it out. It is a virus. It will go by itself. This will have a good effect on them. And regarding the isolation, we have told them why they should be in a different isolation. It is not a punishment for them. And in case there is some neighbors and all creating really a nuisance for them, we will take action on that one. That one also with the help of the police and all these things. It is possible. It is not difficult. We have the task force in the BBMP. We can tell them we are not supposed. Nobody is supposed to harass the patients. This much we are quite happy, madam. Sometimes it may be very few minutes. Sometimes it may be a little longer. But all that is what is required for the patient. And I am not repeating whatever Sharon has told. Anything else is there? If you ask, I will answer.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this. I know, a lot of the other volunteers are also waiting. If there is a quick, message from the rest of the volunteers, very quick, 2 or 3 minutes message from the volunteers. It will be wonderful. First of all, I think you are all doing a great job, because I know what it feels emotionally, especially when people are in home isolation, because that's also very important, because a lot of times this leads to degrading the disease further, and people are running to hospitals. So it's so important that you manage emotionally and mentally quicker. It's a very good thing. So anybody else wants to share their quick thoughts?
Hi, Sujata. Good afternoon.
Hi.
My name is Vijay Lakshmi.
Hi.
Yes, I worked as a school counselor. I was volunteering in Kidwai Hospital, Karunashriya, and St. John's Hospital before. After this COVID started, we started giving moral support to the home isolation patients. Like firstly, in the beginning in 2020 July, even I was infected with COVID 19. Then when I call the patients, when I introduce myself to them as a buddy volunteer, and from East Zone, I'm talking to you and all, they will be little hesitant initially. They feel okay, somebody is calling from BBMP. Oh, okay, well, as usual, these calls will go on like that. And when I tell them that, okay, how are you doing? How are you following the medications prescribed by your doctor and all? They feel yes, madam, okay. Then once I tell them that, okay, please be positive, drink lot of water, eat, timely food, all these things, and then they will start saying that, about their symptoms, and they will have inhibitions to share. Once I share my thing, no, don't worry, ma'am, even I was positive a couple of months ago, and I have undergone what you are undergoing, then they will have a lot of questions to ask. And that is when they'll open up and they ask me, madam, 1 minute, one more question. Okay, I have lost my taste and smell. Okay, this is happening, that is happening. Okay, then they will it's very nice of them to ask, and then I give them all the remedies whatever I followed, as well as we don't recommend medications as such, because doctors would have already prescribed, and we are told that we should not be adding anything else, because of each and every individual have their own medical backgrounds. And another time, sometimes what happens, we ensure that in case of any assistance, you can always reach out to us. We will assure them that we are always there for you. Some of them, they save our numbers and they'll get back to us after a month also. Okay, madam, okay, now I have some question. Okay, how is, can I do this? Can I do that? So it will be very nice to, it's a very beautiful feeling that, they remember us and they feel free to call us back.
Right.
We would have forgotten them actually, but they make it an effort to remember, save our numbers and call us.
Right.
Yes.
No, it is very good. So if any one of you can also share, because I know in home isolation, there are times when, for whatever it is, the disease has further degraded, and, people have had issues with, currently, at least I know in this, during the second wave, there's a sudden drop in oxygen levels, and, have they
Right.
reached out to you, and, how have you helped? Because I think most of them are really in distress. If you ask me today, more than the first wave, the second wave is where people are really distressed. The minute they are at least tested COVID positive, the second thing that's running in their mind is
Oxygen.
Oxygen levels. Because although there's a prescription that every 2 hours, the 6-minute walk, you'll have to check your oxygen levels, but a lot of them whom I have also spoken to, they keep telling me we're just worried our oxygen levels will fall down. So maybe one is fear. Second one, if somebody can share, if you have helped somebody, if their oxygen levels have fallen, that would really help the viewers.
Yes, Jata, day in and day out, we are they are asking us, even if 1%, we will tell them that 94 and below, you need to, it's alarming. So every time they get panic, and even if it is coming to 92, 91 also, they get scared. We do share the proning videos with them, and in day in and day out, each and every patient has that problem.
So I think
Yes,
the
Sudarshana.
first point I would like to make is, I think the fact that this is helping and working as a group, I think I am a success story for that to be proven, because it was Sharon who reached out to me when I was COVID positive, and also Mr. Sudarshan. So it was then that I decided, okay, I was helped, and so I need to pay it forward. With that, I started, and I think my experience thus far has been very bittersweet. I can't say it's always been positive, because I can see that I'm making a difference to people who are not so critical, who are in a state where things are all right. They're just a bit anxious, and talking helps, and getting the right information at the right time helps. I think I find that people who are already in a state of despondency, who have probably lost someone, a lot of the families I'm reaching out to now,
Yeah.
with the second wave, I find that people have died.
Yeah,
So, on an average, out of every 20 calls I make, at least 2 or 3 would have already been dead.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult to deal with as a volunteer. But at the same time, those patients or their families are never going to open up, or not on a short call for sure. Then they're really coping and grieving still. So that became quite challenging for me. But in that sense, I've also noticed that there are some families who haven't yet reached that phase of anxiety, in the sense, not anxiety, perhaps not grieving as yet, but the patient is still, they have oxygen levels that's varying. In those cases, just having the necessary information, they could have looked this up themselves online, but just a random call from a stranger who's offering to give resources, immediate help at hand, in that sense, that seems to calm them down, and I can see some value add there. I really hope we are able to, work with the government in some way in making all of this centralized, and make information more accessible to people in a speedy manner. That would really be useful.
Mansi, what you very well said, because I think second wave is, I think, a lot more scary, and families have really been affected, and there's a lot of fear. First fear is, if my oxygen level drops, whom do I reach out to? Hospitals are not available. There are so many WhatsApp messages that keeps going. In fact, that's one of the reasons, I wanted this video to reach a lot of them, because what do they do? I mean, no hospital beds are available now. There is also a lot of fear that has gone in, that if I go to a hospital, probably only a few of them are coming back. Most of them are not. So,
but that is exactly where it might not be so useful. I've had families yell at me. They're not able to book hospital beds, and if I keep telling them 108, 1912, they are going to get frustrated at the end of it. So it's not going to help those people.
Right. I think you very well said it. It is for people, who I think just out of fear, reach degrading of disease. Instead of that, I think you're helping them with emotional support. That's very well said, ma'am.
Working with buddy volunteers for some time now, and like all volunteering, some days are like very good, they are very rewarding, and some days are very disheartening. Some days you feel, when you're not able to book patients bed, you feel, oh my god, what am I doing? I'm not able to help. But some days you feel so good to be able to add something into someone's life. Recently, I had this case, a single mom with her son in one of the upscale apartments. Both of them have tested positive, and the mom is like, she's not fully unwell, but she has the usual symptoms of COVID-19, gastric distress, and these things. And the situation that only two of them, with no one to help them, when I first called her, I could make out how vulnerable and how insecure she felt. And as we began interacting mostly on a daily basis, every day once I used to talk to her, and I found she opened up so much. And I also found that her recovery was her recovery was so good. And almost after day before yesterday, she called me up and told me, I have now, my home isolation is done, I'm much better. And somehow I felt so rewarded. I felt, okay, I have made difference to one person in this difficult time. Just one person I have helped in some small way, and that itself is such a reward. And it's I can't help people with beds, and maybe I can't do all the things, I'm not this whole system, but I feel great that some part of it, in a way, I'm able to contribute and, make a difference.
Right, right. Yeah, every small thing, any small help in this time of crisis is rewarding. Yeah, Sumit,
Hi, sorry, I can't be on video. I'm in a very bad spot right now.
that's okay.
So, few perspectives, right? I've heard everybody speaking, and every volunteer that we have on our team, probably 150 plus 200, about 200, they're doing an amazing job, right? And with whatever resources we have, this is what we can do at this point of time. But we have heard the stories from our volunteers. We have interacted with patients, hospitals, doctors, everything. And as Vijay was saying, right, we have not reached 85,000, but I'm just looking at the number right now. We are at 98,673. So we are close to 1 lakh people will be reaching out. Uh, so I am basically no one in this group. These are the people, my buddy volunteers. They guide me what they need, what needs to be done. So we have heard them, and since we are not a registered organization, we do not work with any political party or with any corporates. Everything that we fund is our own money, and we are trying to upgrade to help people more. So in next couple of days, we'll be having Telegram bots, which will have verified information on oxygen suppliers, on oxygen concentrators, on doctors. We will be creating a team of doctors who will be pro bono again on Telegram channel. So we'll start with Telegram, and anybody, any Bangalorean can just join that group, ask question, leave that group, get the answer, leave that group. We are working to figure out how to get a helpline number. So if people have no access to technology or don't know how to use Telegram or WhatsApp, they can call us and get connected to doctors or oxygen supplier. We are also in the process of figuring out how to get free oxygen concentrator, right? We don't have money, but we are getting few oxygen concentrators from our friends and family abroad, which we will put into the system. Also procuring a lot of oximeters in this week. Probably we'll have a lot of things ready. But Telegram channel, that's going to go up for medical counseling, for normal, emotional counseling. We'll have another channel for all the resources, whether you need food, you need groceries, you need medicines, you need oxygen. So most of these food, groceries, oxygen, we are able to fulfill whoever is asking from the buddy volunteer group, the data that we have access to, but we are going to keep it open for public, and anybody in Bangalore would be able to use our help.
So when is that going to come up, Sumit? Because I think, better late than never, because I think this is the worst crisis that.
Yeah. As I said, right, we are a self-funded group, self-motivated group. We started discussion about this about 2 days back or 3 days back. We already have the plans in place. So I would say maybe by end of or before end of next week for sure, like in another 5 to 7 days. That is what we are targeting, to start off with at least the medical and emotional counseling group, and then because many a time now people, when we call, they say, oh, we don't have a doctor, or nobody is helping, or doctor is charging us, or they are not getting any doctor's appointment on Practo or any other app, right? So we are going to have pro bono doctors, not only in or from Bangalore, but from anywhere in India. They could be part of that, and anybody in Karnataka or in Bangalore should be able to ask them question and get an immediate response 24/7.
Sumit, I think once you get that up, I definitely, would like to speak back to you, and probably everybody to know, because that's going to be, that's what people are waiting for. And I wish you all really good luck.
Thank
you
you.
all have been doing fantastic job. This is really need of the hour, and I'm sure you guys will go a great way. But I know this is something that you cannot plan for so many months now, because there's so much of crisis that's going on. And I think I'm looking forward to hear back from you about this new app, and then I will definitely connect back with you
Sure.
to hear more about this, Sumit. But
Sure.
thank you once again to the entire Buddy Volunteer team. Wish you good luck. I know you have your hands full, but Thank you for taking your time and coming and talking to Digital Wellness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sujata.